All right, welcome back to the podcast, folks. Today, I got a special one here for you today. We are out at Brightview Senior Living in Perry Hall, and I got an awesome opportunity to take a tour of this beautiful community that they have here. We've got Tina and we've got Danielle. Ladies, welcome to the show. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just really excited about this episode, and what I'm really hoping to kind of communicate to other people is just to give people an understanding of, what independent living is and what kind of opportunities here. Because honestly, coming into this, I don't necessarily know what I was thinking I was going to be getting myself into, but I was just blown away today by the tour that you guys gave us. So thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well, thank you for touring the community.
Absolutely. So give everybody just a little bit of a background about who both of you are.
Absolutely. So my name's Danielle. I've been with the company since November 2022. I came in through our Vibrant Living department, which primarily focuses on events and activities here in the community. They manage transportation, as a number of other things here in the community. About 10 months in, I was approached for the sales director role. I haven't looked back since, so I couldn't be happier here with the Brightview family.
Awesome. Tina?
Yes, so I'm Tina. I have a human resource and a real estate background. I've been here since July of 2023. Interesting story. I stumbled upon Brightview Senior Living because my best friend's dad was not going to be successful leaving his single family home and going to a condo independently. And I toured one of our sister communities and absolutely fell in love and knew that I wanted to be a part of this family. So I just kept applying and applying and applying.
Yeah, and you're here.
I got called, and I'm never looking back. I absolutely love my job, love what I do, love our family here.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
As we were going around, we got the opportunity to meet some residents. We got the opportunity to meet some staff members here, and it just seems like just a strong positive vibe that you guys got. It's a great energy in this environment here.
Well, thank you for noticing. I really try to hit home just the theme of family and closeness within this community. And it's something that Tina and I really do preach about when it comes to visits with families that come in and tour this community. The associates, we've been voted a great place to work, a great place to live for a number of years in a row through Fortune 500 and 100. And it means a lot to us because it's true. That is associate driven, that is resident driven. And what it really means to the residents is they know they're cared for. They know they are loved. They know that we are looking out for their best interests when they're here in the community. So I always am honored to hear that kind of feedback.
Yeah. That's fantastic. As families start to think about their older parents coming into senior living, I'm sure as the salespeople of Brightview, you have heard the obstacles and the struggles that people have when they're considering this next step in their life. So what are some of those obstacles, and how are people overcoming those?
Sure, that's a great question.
I would say probably the biggest obstacle are the folks that have been in their homes for 40, 50, 60 years, and they just can't get out of their own way.
Okay.
It's fear. In my experience, I think that most older folks know they need supports. They know they're relying more and more. It's prideful. To ask for help is a hard thing. And they don't realize how much more the families are doing, how much more the friends are doing as their eyesight starts to deteriorate and they can't drive any longer, or they've had a fall or a health event. The house is becoming unmanageable. Know in their hearts that they need help, but number one, it's hard to ask for help, and it's number two, hard to let go of all they've known for 30, 40, 50, 60 years.
Sure.
So it's really, the first step is getting people here. Just like you came to visit today, not knowing what you were walking into. It's the same level of, fear for an older person, or even the families. Danielle and I both meet with a lot of families first because the unknown, and how do I talk mom into coming here just for a visit? And Danielle and I have a lot of talk tracks on how to help families navigate that, get them in for an event, get them in for just a meal. If they're a veteran, we have Vet Cafe. There's, depending on what we get to know about the loved one, we can kind of customize that experience for them. And I would say the second biggest obstacle is probably, what do I do with my stuff?
Yeah. Downsizing.
Well,
Downsizing.
I tell people all the time, you accumulate a lot of things
That's right.
over the course
That's
of
right.
20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years,
That's right. We find, it's like I'm frozen mentality. Well, I don't know what to do. Many times we're, working with a population of people where they've lost a partner, right? So now we're a widow or widower, and we've been in our home for 50 years, and it's full of memories, and we want to honor that.
Right.
But we also want to support them in a safe step in aging in place, right? And that 3-story home with laundry in the basement isn't going to be supportive when you're 96, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about folks, coming in at 91, 92. Some of my recent move-ins were 94 years old, coming into independent living. They were living in a home that was just dangerous at that point, right? So we talk regularly about the importance of setting yourself up for success. And if you come in now, God forbid there's a health event, God forbid you have a fall in that home, then we're talking about assisted living. Then your back's against a wall, and you may not have as much decision-making abilities as you would coming into independent living, where your wants, your desires are first priority. So we talk a lot about just long term, long term, and focusing on being successful that way.
Yeah, I think it's so important for people to actually get in here and see it. Just before we started rolling, you were talking about somebody that you were meeting with who were very hesitant, and then just called you a few hours later.
The resistance is there sometimes, and sometimes it's the proof is in the pudding. We need to be able to stand on our words. I use that term a lot because it's true. We need to really be able to tell them, and with truth, that your independence is going nowhere. Your choice and autonomy is our first priority, just as much as it is theirs. And once we really share the community, and what a beautiful community it is.
Oh my gosh.
But at the end of the day, the feeling that they have, the safety, all of those things are really going to be the number one there. And independence is a big part of that. When I talk to families, maybe we're graduating into assisted living from independent living. When I sit down with that family, the statement is, you are gaining care, you are losing nothing.
Right.
One of the biggest beauties to this community is the integration between independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Because we offer that continuum of care, there is nothing offered to my independent living residents that's not available to assisted living residents. And so on with memory care, as long as that's suitable, and with family members, and we're being escorted appropriately for safety. And what a wonderful offering that is for families, to just reassure them of that safety, security, family, autonomy, choice, all of those things.
So from a perspective of somebody that doesn't know a whole lot, dig a little bit deeper into those 3 levels that you were talking about with senior living.
Of course.
So I think it's also important to preface this with, we are an all-inclusive community, which is also kind of rare in this area. So we include everything from meals to electric, water, cable, internet, housekeeping, all included. All of the activities that we saw earlier today included in the base rent. There's no additional fees for your housekeeper to come every 2 weeks. There's no additional fees for art supplies. Everything's included, including transportation to fun activities, and also we help with transportation to doctor's appointments. No additional charge. So that's right out of the gate for all levels of care. So it is definitely a resort style, all-inclusive.
And we're definitely going to talk about those amenities, because my goodness, wow, like you're going to, if you are listening to the podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, we are making a separate dedicated video just to the tour of this great community. It's you're going to have to check it out. So, but back to the 3 levels. So we have 3 different levels of care here. Talk about that a little bit.
We have 146 independent living apartments, 36 assisted living, and 29 in our memory care. So independent living, complete autonomy. However, we do have a lot of supports that support people. We have people that still drive, still work part-time, come and go as they please.
Really?
Still have, their life outside of these 4 walls. So, you had mentioned earlier, like, a facility. We're not a facility. We are a community through and through. Offers supports, though, So as people do start to age and do start to need some additional supports, we mentioned everything is all inclusive. We have 24-hour concierge, so there's somebody at the front desk 24 hours a day to monitor ins and outs, to answer questions, to help with packages, answer any questions throughout the day, down to if somebody's remote control stops working. So just those really simple things that, adult children or friends of folks are getting calls in the wee hours of just something really simple. That's something that we're handling with a simple call down to the front desk. Maintenance is included, of course, so it is a rental. So anything that happens in these walls is being taken care of by maintenance. We do offer our version of a life alert button. So we have safety pendants. Something happens inside the apartment, push that button. We're going to know where you are. We're going to come be by your side, and we're going to help you through that event, whether it was a health event or a fall. We're going to be there for you. We're going to call 911 if we need to. We're going to call the family if we need to, but just an added level of support. Danielle mentioned earlier that we are a sense of community. When you walk out your door, people are calling you by your name and they're saying hello. We know their patterns. We know their routines. We know if somebody is acting a little off and might need some additional help that day. So it's really definitely, you're adding 200 members to your family, basically.
And that's how it felt as Drew and I were walking the halls with you guys. It was like you knew every single person. You knew whether they were living here or an employee here. You knew their pet's name. I mean, like, and there was just conversation about something that was specific to them. It was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I could remember all that.
It's pretty common also, even in our dining environment. So when our residents go to dinner or breakfast or lunch, their servers generally know their names. They know who they are, and a lot of our servers, our dining servers, are high school or college kids. Let's call it what it is. And it's so impressive to me how much they care and how much they connect with our residents. And it's really a really special environment. And they know their names. They know what they like to have for dessert. They know if they're having coffee or tea or soda. So it's not just Danielle or I or the executive directors that you met along the way. It trickles all the way down the line. So from start to finish, our housekeepers are dedicated housekeepers to their residents. So again, you're developing those relationships. When your housekeeper comes to clean, they're talking about their grandchildren and they're, oh, how is so-and-so? And, so it really, we do become part of a family.
Yeah. I think it speaks to the consistency and how important that is, especially when it refers to our care neighborhoods and assisted living and memory care. But even here in independent living, trust, security, that those are hand in hand with consistency, right? We don't want a different housekeeper coming every other week. When we welcome a resident into this community, Tina and I have spent a ton of time building a blue binder with photos of people from that maintenance team, photos of our dining staff. We want to make sure our residents know who we are, who's going to be knocking at your door, and really familiar in that way.
Even down to the shadow boxes that you had hanging on the outside of the door, creating that sense of this is my home.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then we move into assisted living. So again, all the same amenities, same community. The doors are wide open. Our 36 assisted living apartments are fully integrated into our independent lifestyle. They can attend the same field trips. They can go to movies. They can eat in the same restaurants. So there's no exclusion or, oh, they live over there. As you're going through the community, you don't know who's in assisted and who's in independent living. It also makes it nice for our folks that are transitioning from independent living to assisted living. Our internal residents do get priority into our assisted living neighborhood. But it allows them to keep their same friends. It allows them to keep their routine, still go to Spice, eat in the same restaurants. And so it's just a really nice, easy, you're literally just changing your apartment number. So it's really nice. And they do get an added level. Danielle mentioned this earlier. Assisted living just affords a little bit higher level of care. So they're going to get weekly housekeeping. They're going to get laundry service. They're going to get 3 meals a day. They're going to get medication management. They're going to get personal care hours. And then there's care packages that build on top of the base level of care. And then, of course, we have memory care, which is our Wellspring Village. So when you progress into memory care, it's for our folks that have Alzheimer's Alzheimer's and dementia-related illnesses. And it's just a beautiful space. Danielle and I actually enjoy going down there and just spending time. She's like, oh, I'm going to Wellspring Village. I'm like, okay, we'll see you in an hour. But it is, it's just a really special place. They do activities down there. They sing karaoke. They have musical entertainment. They go on country rides. They went to the Humane Society. They made homemade dog treats and they packaged them and tied them, and they took a bus trip to the Humane Society. Mary is just phenomenal in developing her programming. And again, I bounce back to our whole goal is to have folks keep their independence, feel like they're independent, and have beautiful memories and make new memories.
Yeah.
It's all about vibrant days, no matter the neighborhood. That's really what it comes down to. Mary Smith, that Wellspring Village director, again, has been with us 21 years. It is, I say so many times about Mary, she could have been a regional director of, dementia care long ago.
Yeah.
But her dedication is here in the community with families and residents. I can't speak more highly of that and the investment that she puts into that community, that neighborhood within this community. I'm always proud to be there and to show it and to share it with families that are considering different memory care options for their loved ones.
The vibrant energy, no matter what part of the building we were in today, was just very transparent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Danielle and I are both very hands-on. And I come from a place of how can I sell a neighborhood to families if I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So, it's really important for us to integrate ourselves into, every part of this community, including the associates and getting to know them and their story. And so it just really makes a difference, not for the residents that live here, but also for their families.
Right. There is a lot going on in this building.
Yep.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this community. And talk about some of the amenities and activities that people that live here experience on a day-to-day basis. This is where I was just like blown away,
So Danielle comes from Vibrant Living, so I'm gonna let her take the lead on this.
Let's go.
So Vibrant Living manages events and activities. We refer to it as Vibrant Living because the goal is truly to have the most vibrant days possible in senior living. We want to be a cruise ship that doesn't leave port, right? And that's what we want. We share that, we use that example a lot, but it's true. It's true. So from, we design our calendar around an acronym. It's called SPICE. So each and every activity or event is designed around this model. It stands for spiritual, physical, intellectual, cultural, and emotional wellness.
Okay.
So whether it be our spiritual offerings of mindful meditation, Christian services, Catholic services, our partnership with Father Felix up at St. Joe's, we're offering that spiritual wellness. Whether it be the physical aspect through Beata Home Health offerings with physical therapy and occupational therapy, whether it be our gym, whether it be our walking club, there are a number of physical opportunities for the residents. The intellectual aspect is generally through brain games. And our book club and different activities of that nature. Residents have a heavy hand in the way and the influence of that calendar. So we're always trying new things. The cultural, emotional wellness I love because every Wednesday, I think Tina referenced our taste program. And what we might do during a taste program is maybe we'll do a virtual tour of Sweden. And we're going to tour, we'll have our dining director come up and he'll prepare us something from Sweden, which is awesome. You know what I mean? How cool is that?
Very cool.
We did a virtual tour of Madagascar and our head chef, Nicole, made Madagascar chicken for us. And the whole the whole community enjoyed that. But it is investing in our cultural wellness, and whether that be through stories and experience of our own residents and their travels or where they come from and, their family histories, or through those virtual tours, it's just one outlet to invest in their wellness. And lastly is our emotional wellness, and that be through a number of different offerings. Some of that might be the spiritual offerings. Some of that may simply be through avoiding that isolation that we are so hitting home to avoid in our own homes, and coming into community and building relationships with each other and our neighbors. We also partner with a mental health service here, so it's always available. We want emotional wellness to really be high here, and if we see someone struggling, we want to be able to offer them something that's really going to be of real support.
Yeah.
And yoga.
And yoga.
And yoga, absolutely, from mindful meditation to yoga.
Well, throughout our tour, we saw places within the neighborhood that were just neat. We saw some art going on, arts and crafts. What are some of the other activities? And well, not only to talk about the activities, but 4 restaurants.
That's right.
4 restaurants.
That's right. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about those.
Sure. So we have 4 dining restaurants in the community. 3 are dedicated to independent living and assisted living. And assisted living also has a specialized 4th dining restaurant just for them. So 4 total in the community. Nottingham's would be what I would describe as our more fine dining establishment. I always say, you know, go in and grab a piece of fish, or maybe they want grilled shrimp that night. So they'll go over to that space. Over in Legends Pub is where we take in all of our sporting events. And like I said, we're crying. Sometimes we're happy with our local Baltimore sporting teams. But
Orioles, Ravens, they always keep us on the edge.
Yeah, we share a beer or 2, have a glass of wine, and then they go into some maybe bar foods, a little bit more of a casual environment. Then over into our bistro area for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Lunch isn't included in independent living, but we found that some folks really do enjoy having a full lunch every day. So we made it an offering. Of course, it's available to assisted living anyway. So it's available in that space. It's between $5 and $7. I joke quite regularly. It's less than going to Chick-fil-A, and it's a quality, high quality chef prepared meal.
Right.
And then we have Dietz's. So Dietz's is named after a local farm that was here in Perry Hall at one point. Same with Nottingham's as well. And that is our assisted living dedicated restaurant in that space. And that's a more fine dining establishment as well. That's right. Yeah. And then some of the other amenities that we reviewed in the community or activities and events is we do live music every Saturday and Sunday. I reiterate, the residents have a big hand in that calendar. If we have a band in here and they don't like it, we want to hear from them. And I mean it when I say that. So we have live music every Saturday and Sunday, movie nights every single night, different church services throughout the week, and maybe a full communion today with St. Joe's, and on Sunday we'll have a Christian non-denominational service. From the spice classes every morning, 10 and 11 o'clock usually, held with our physical therapists. They'll go into maybe a word game after that, maybe a taste program on Wednesday where we're cooking and exploring a new space. And maybe we'll go to Alaska next month. You know what I mean? So the list goes on and on. Bingo a couple times a week. I always say, bring your cards. It's a crowd favorite.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with bingo.
But we've deviated a little bit, and so we'll do Pokino as well, which is a poker bingo hybrid. It's awesome. It's played with face cards, and we're super competitive, and we're not playing for big bucks. We don't encourage the residents to, gamble $100 here and there.
There's a gambling ring in Perry Hall.
But penny Pokino, nickel bingo. We enjoy, we have many clubs here in the community. So bridge club, poker club, the men's club meets 3 times a week. There are so many different offerings for our residents. The watercolor classes, intermediate, beginner style. We do paint night with a twist once a month with our vibrant living director. We're very fortunate with our directors here in the community that they have such amazing backgrounds. Our vibrant living director holds her degree from Micah and is a phenomenal artist. So every month she will host about 40 to 45 people with our residents and their family members and walk through a whole paint and sip night. Open a few bottles of wine, maybe some Cokes for the kids, and we just enjoy our time together. So lots of outlets.
I mean, a dedicated movie theater, a dedicated game room with billiards table, poker table, and all these different clubs. The library with the built-in shelving, the kitchen area that's just gorgeous. And again, you gotta watch the YouTube video to see all these things. The tour is gonna sell you. I mean, it's beautiful.
So we also do a lot of activities outside of the community.
Talk about that.
We have buses and vehicles that we will use on our monthly calendar. It could be the dollar store, it could be Target, Boscov's. We like to go to Trader Joe's. So in addition to shopping trips, we also do lunch outings. So it could be Cracker Barrel or Sunshine Grill or somewhere fun that they want. The Garden Club just went to the
Rawlings Conservatory.
And then they went to Richardson's for lunch, and it was a beautiful day. They just took a field trip to the casino in Perryville. So it could be anywhere. We also do a lot of cultural events. So we will go up to American Music Theater for show. We have a subscription to Sight and Sound Theater. We've gone to the Hippodrome to see Lion King.
That was awesome.
We also partner with St. Demetrios, and they have a whole theatrical production, so we'll sponsor tables there for their shows.
Yeah.
So it's just a really nice opportunity again for folks who aren't driving,
Right.
and they want to keep their independence because they can still shop and go out and do all these fun things. We get them there.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice opportunity. Danielle mentioned that we do meet with our residents monthly. So both our Vibrant Living team, our dining team meet with our residents and what do you want? What did we have on the calendar that didn't work or didn't feel good?
Sure.
What are we missing?
Yeah.
And they will jump right on it. We recently had a potential resident who his only joy is to fish.
Okay.
And I went to the team and I said, okay, like what are the chances of us getting, a little fishing trip? And they were like, oh, let's do it.
Wow.
Same with, 2 days ago, I met with a lady who likes to swim. She just wants to take water aerobics across the street. Kids First has classes. Happened to mention it. And oh, heck, we probably got 3 or 4 ladies that would love to sign up for that.
Yeah.
So that easy, you just say, oh, I might want to, and it's going to happen.
Right.
If we can make it happen, they're going to do everything.
Our business is to say yes. It is to meet the residents' needs.
It is really an all-inclusive resort. It really, like you said, the cruise ship that doesn't leave the docks.
Yeah.
I mean, it is everything and more.
Yeah.
What are the maybe 2 or 3 most frequently asked questions that people have for you? If we haven't answered them already, or maybe we have. What are the 2 or the 3 of the most frequently asked questions that most people ask when they come here?
So I'm going to put the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably the biggest question that we get.
Yep.
And Danielle and I both hesitate to right out of the gate just spit out numbers.
Sure.
Because without understanding everything that we have to offer, before you got here, if I would have just thrown a number out to you, you would have been like,
might not even have showed up.
Wouldn't have even come.
Maybe not.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
So Danielle and I are very careful when we're talking to families or potential residents on the phone because we really want them to see the experience before we start talking numbers.
Yes.
So that would probably be the biggest question that we get. I would say, can I bring
Continuum
an
of
animal?
care. Yeah. Of course, are we pet friendly? That's a big one.
Okay.
But the care
We saw
that
3 or 4 pups
We are pet-friendly folks.
and some chicks
Yes.
too.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Surprise!
But continuum of care is also a big question. Cost point is certainly something. It's financially preparing for your future is so important. So Tina and I respect those questions 100%. I think getting across to folks the value that is built into our business model.
Yes.
It's something that we're really dedicated to when sharing those.
Very similar to real estate. People are
Yeah.
like, "What's your commission?" Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about what I actually bring to the
What are you
table,
gonna do
Exactly
for
right.
them?
and then we can discuss.
Yeah.
And if it's like, well, you want the cheapest guy in town, or do you want the creme de la creme, which is what we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say one of the other things we haven't talked about yet is probably even more for like men and the shyer females. What are you going to do for my loved one when they get here? How are they going to find their way around? So we have a beautiful ambassador program.
Okay.
So folks that have lived here for a while, who have agreed to donate their time, be built-in friend.
Yep.
So when we both started around the same time, we worked really hard to develop the program.
Okay.
So you may now not just get one ambassador. You may have a few different ambassadors, maybe somebody that's going to help you or take you to dinner or lunch one day or a couple days and introduce you to the table crowd. If you love bingo, you might get a bingo ambassador that's just going to take you to bingo.
Okay.
If you want to garden, we might pair you with someone in the garden club so
Yep.
that they can take you to the garden club. Your only love might be to play cards. So we're going to introduce you to Joan, who's going to play cards every night.
Yeah.
So, when you get here, you may not just meet one person who's going to, you're going to follow them around like a puppy, but we're going to expose you to people who really enjoy the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
We ask everyone that moves in to do a life story. And that life story is shared with our executive director team. And so we get to know you on a personal level before you even walk through the door.
Yes.
So we're going to be able to kind of say, we know, she's a retired nurse. We got to get her hooked up with the nurses.
Okay.
They were a teacher. So, we know right off the bat, we're going to, they went to Dundalk High. We have got a large, so we use that as a tool to pair you with folks because we want you to have the best
That's so
experience when you
important.
get here.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I think what I've seen here today is safety, security, service, and socializing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Connections.
connections. I mean, we just, especially at an older age, we need to have that connection, you know? We as human beings need to have that connection.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
right.
You know?
You know, you hit something on the head, and I don't know that there's a visit I don't go on with folks when I say to them, you know, the two biggest enemies we have outside of this community, or when we talk to people, are isolation and falls, right? These are our two biggest enemies. They are the most dangerous things when working with our population of folks. Is we don't want, you know, isolation is just as dangerous as a fall.
Sure.
I cannot stress it enough to families.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, it's the value in the social aspect here in the community is priceless, in my opinion.
It's interesting too. This is just a side note, but we've had many folks that when we meet with them, you know, their skin doesn't look good. They look sad.
Yeah.
They look disheveled.
Yeah.
Even, you know, sometimes they just don't look well. And within months of living here, we'll look at each other and be like, holy cow, like they don't even look like the same person.
Wow.
You know,
Gained
they've
the
gained a
Brightview
little-
10 pounds.
Yeah, they gained a little weight.
Yeah.
You know, they have a purpose.
Yeah.
They now have their will to live back. And, you
That's
know,
beautiful.
it not just changes them, their physical appearance, but their emotional well-being. And,
Yeah.
you know, people just come back to life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive. People come in with a cane and they're hunched over, and then within like a week or a couple weeks, they're like walking around upright, and
Yeah.
because, I mean, they've got their purpose back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So important.
So important.
So, with everything that you've said, and me not knowing that this is my first experience in a senior living community, what separates Brightview from everybody else?
The people.
Yeah. Hands
people.
down.
Anybody
Hands
can
down.
build a beautiful building.
That's right.
They can
That's right.
tchotchke it up and
Yeah.
and they can make, you know, good paint job, and
Yep.
it's
It's the
I
service
think-
we offer. It is our goal is to be the best. And I repeat, our CEO, our one of our owners and CEO and president of Brightview Senior Living's name is Doug Dollenberg, and we are a locally owned and operated company. So his office is right on Charles Street down the road.
Yep.
And we have the opportunity to meet with them and have lunch with them here in the community or at their community sometimes. And what he has said is, you know, people approach him and say, why aren't we in Florida? Why aren't we here? Why aren't we there? Right? And
Yep.
we can expand. And he has reiterated over and over again, we may never be the biggest, but we will always be the best.
Always be the best.
We will always have top tier associates that are CPR and first aid certified. When those family members walk through that door, we know them by name and face. We know that Miss Joan does not like X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So please do not invite her to the harmonica player. She hates, you know what I mean?
Right,
That's
right.
as personal as we get. And that is probably the biggest differentiator between us and some of our competitors. Is the feeling you get here in the community. I think our size is also a big differentiator between some of our other competitors here locally. It is that when
It's
you
not the
walk
biggest.
it's not. Physically, even in Brightview Perry Hall, we are not the biggest. I mean, we're a sizable community with 211 apartments, but the truth is I have aging parents, right? They're in their 70s, they're thinking about senior living. And when I talk about my parents aging in a space where there are 2,000, 2,500 apartments, and are they going to get that personal investment? Are they really going to have that, or is it just a one level space for them to live in?
Gotcha.
I want that top tier for them.
I love that.
I want the investment for them. Their quality of life is of the utmost importance to myself and my family. So, that's the goal.
I would also say that our food sets us apart.
Oh yeah.
We have an amazing. So again,
I'm starving now from going over the
We're gonna
tour.
give you a good meal.
So
Okay?
Drew and I need to go hit the bistro.
and I invited you to stay.
I know you did.
So not just beautiful spaces, you know, again, anybody can make a dining room look pretty.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have a top tier director of dining, career executive chef. And we have amazing executive chef and head cooks. And they care about the product that they're putting out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's chef prepared, it's from scratch. And the people that are serving it are proud of serving it.
Yes.
And we get to eat here every day, so we know we're very blessed that we get.
And families get to eat here too when they come
absolutely.
and visit. So, wow.
So
Well, great interview today. First of all, thank you so much. If people want more information about Brightview and how they can get connected with you, where should they go?
So you can go to our Facebook page. You can go to Brightview Senior Living /PerryHall.com for more information, or you can reach us right here at the community at 410-529-1903.
Fantastic.
Tina and Danielle.
Tina and Danielle, thank you so much again. This has been a pleasure, and this is just a very important message that needs to be brought out to people, because the baby boomers they're growing up.
Absolutely.
You know, and so we need to be able to give them the quality of life that they deserve.
Yeah.
Well, yes, please follow Brightview. Please reach out to them with other questions, and please follow us. We're on all the social media platforms, either at the Markland Advantage or at TMA Real Estate. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're trying to grow that as well.
Absolutely.
Folks, Tina, Danielle,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it. Go ahead.